So there's no denying that Joker made a lot of money in the box office, which really begs the question, Joker 2, yes or no? Let's go. What is going on, fellow board members? Welcome to the boardroom. I am Moritz, and today we are taking a look at a few articles, but of course we are talking about the leaked Joker 2 announcement, unofficially announced, I guess. Joker 2 in the works, probably longer than we thought. So the first article we're going to take a look at is from cineblend.com. And then we'll actually take a look at whether people want a sequel to the Joker or not. This was the big question when the movie came out. Again, is there going to be a Joker 2? And a lot of fans don't want this. However, I'm on the fence about it. It's hard to say no to a movie that was such a win for fans. Especially with all the media coming out saying all these bad things were going to happen and these crazy, cis white men are going to come out and commit acts of atrocity and horror. And then what happened? Nothing happened, and the movie made over $1 billion without a China release, which I think is the most interesting part of it, especially what we know about Hollywood today. But yet I am on the fence with this decision, but let's get into the article. Apparently, the Joker 2 is further along than we thought. In 2019, after decades of appearing as an antagonist in Batman movies, the Joker finally snagged the cinematic spotlight for himself. Joaquin Phoenix starred as DC Comics clown Prince of Crime in Joker, which was met with a solid amount of positive critical reception and raked in over $1 billion at the box office. Again, $1 billion without a China release. Very interesting stuff. Hollywood kind of really gauges themselves on what China thinks, with China pretty much having their hand in everything at this point. This was not only a win for fans, but this is, I think, really a win for Hollywood, showing that, you can do it without a China release, and that Hollywood should stop hiding behind the whole Chinese veil. So, just my opinion. Although Joker was originally intended as a standalone story, there was talks afterwards about potentially delivering a sequel, and now it looks like Joker 2 is further along in the development process than we thought. Here's the thing, going into Joker 2, they're really going to have to pay attention to what's going on. They're going to have to learn from that first one. What made that first one so successful? It was done on a very low budget, made a ton of money. So I get why they want to do a sequel, but they have to go into the sequel very cautiously. If they can do this and the movie is good, I'd be very excited about that. Yet another win for fans. However, we understand, what they're going to say is, it's going to be in the hands of more audiences, so we have to dial it back. We have to change this. We should change this character, race swap this character, do this. And this is pretty much how they run things now. Again, check boxes. I've said it in many videos. You got to check the boxes nowadays in Hollywood, and that's just what art has never been about. Buried in a THR piece about Hollywood top attorneys, it's mentioned that Joker co-writer-director Todd Phillips signed a deal to co-write the next Joker installment. Now, co-writing kind of makes me a little like, why couldn't he just be the writer on the movie? Maybe because he didn't want to do it. He wanted to do the standalone movie, but they're forcing the hand on it because it made so much money. And since Todd Phillips was the writer, he doesn't want it to go to a bad place with this new writer they have. So he's like, all right, I'll take the hit, be the co-writer, and do everything I can to make sure that the movie goes in the appropriate direction. So Todd Phillips being involved does make me feel a little bit better, but it is kind of curious as to why he's the co-writer. There could be a bunch of things behind the scenes. I really think that Todd Phillips did not want to do a second one, but they're kind of forcing the hand on this because who doesn't love the money. Outside of Joker 2 being mentioned as in development earlier this month, this is the biggest update we've gotten on the project for a long time. And considering how it was under Phillips' watchful eye, the Joker came together, it's only logical that Warner Brothers and DC Films would bring him back for another round of maniacal clown-induced chaos. Again, I think he wants to be there to make sure that this movie tries to go in the right direction. but he is the co-writer. I don't work in Hollywood, so I don't know how much leeway the director has over the writer or whatever. I don't know how that works. But it's either one of two things. Todd Phillips wants to be there to make sure that this movie goes in the appropriate direction, or Warner Brothers doesn't want this movie to go in the wrong direction, so they're, telling Phillips to be a part of it. But then why wouldn't you make him the overall writer, head writer of the thing? I don't know. I don't know how Hollywood works. So the article continues to talk about whether or not they would bring Joaquin Phoenix back as Arthur Fleck. Of course, I don't know why you wouldn't. But then here it says, on the other hand, perhaps Warner Brothers and DC are more interested in going the anthology route with the new Joker movie, and we could see a different take on how the Clown Prince of Crime came to be starring a new character. No, I think that would be bad. Again, I'm on the fence. I'm more towards maybe we shouldn't do this. Just because of, talking with friends and stuff about this whole subject. But, I liked the movie so much. I went and saw it twice, paid to go see it twice in the theaters, loved it. And I did love Joaquin Phoenix in this role, and I would love to see him in this role again. Not sure how they're going to do it. Maybe they lead up to a Batman happening in this next movie. I'm not sure how they would do it, because we all know that, that Joker was way older than Bruce Wayne was. You see it in the movie. But, yeah, if they do anything other than Arthur Fleck character, or try to change that Arthur Fleck character in some way, then it's just, I'm not interested at that point. And just like I was talking about here in the article, then there is the Batman of it all to contemplate. If Joker 2 is indeed a direct sequel to Joker, then the groundwork's already been laid for the Caped Crusader to appear. Like I said, maybe they do the anthology thing and pass it down the line. I know that's kind of been something fans have talked about. Maybe, this is just somebody, starting the mantle of Joker and then passing the Joker mantle on. Maybe, I don't know. It seems a little convoluted for the movies. I can see why they would do it in the comic books. For the movies, it just seems a little convoluted, but I don't know. Maybe they could pull that off. Joker 2 could easily pick up several decades later and follow the now adult Bruce Wayne becoming Batman and hunting down the man who was directly responsible for his parents' murder. Nah, you're talking decades. We already have Arthur Fleck, a character, I believe, who's in his 40s. You're talking a couple of decades. A 65, 70-year-old Joker is just not going to work. Maybe I'm off on my ages there. I don't know. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, maybe we shouldn't do this. But I do want to see more of that Joaquin Phoenix, Arthur Fleck. Let's move on to the other article. So now we have a better understanding at where they're at with the Joker 2 and what they're planning on doing with that. But this article comes from NewYorkPost.com. Joker 2 is happening, but it's already a hard pass for some DC fans. There are a lot of people who really enjoyed that first one who do not want to see the second one. Like I said, I don't necessarily think we need a second movie, but I would love to see more of this Joaquin Phoenix Joker. When we first got the set images from this movie, when they were filming and everything, at first I was kind of like, I don't know, man, the makeup, the outfit, I don't know. It's a little off-putting to me, but then you see the movie and you're like, wow, this all works together. I was pleasantly surprised. I went into this movie thinking it was going to be terrible. I walked out of it and wanted to go see it again a few days later. So, again, I want to see more of this character, but I don't know if it's a good idea to do a second one. Resurrecting the twisted tale of the grinning, green-haired supervillain, the director of the original Joker, Todd Phillips, is set to co-write the Academy Award-winning film's next installment. According to an apparent slip of the tongue his lawyer Warren Dern made within a lengthy Hollywood Reporter industry report, hipster movie blog Screen Rant called out Dern's info leak, and now fans are making the apparent leak go viral with a vengeance. Yeah, of course. Yeah, this is what we do. This is what the internet does. We find out what's going on and we get that information out there to the people. It's definitely a lot more than what mainstream media does for people these days. And even though Warner Brothers hasn't officially confirmed the project, some diehard fans of the 2019 psychological DC Comics Thriller aren't thrilled about rumors of the forthcoming follow-up flick because of everything that's going on in Hollywood. They don't want to have to have the Hollywood brand really slapped on it. This was a low-budget movie that made a lot of money, and I think the low budget of this movie made it better. It made it work. It was more practical, and I think that more practical movies are more tangible, less CGI to enhance the practicality of movies. It made us feel like an old, like those old cop movies, real explosions. I'm sure they did CGI explosions in this movie as well, but it was really tangible. The practicality of it was beautiful, and that's one of the reasons I love this movie. To quote a fan, all I'll add to the Joker 2 disclosure is that it's a hard pass for me. Y'all enjoy it, but I'm out, and no amount of praise will sway me. One ticked off fan griped. I don't know if you'd say they're ticked off. I mean, they're saying y'all can enjoy it, but it's not for me. I'm out. I don't think they're ticked off at that point. But to quote another, I already fell for that trip once, but please understand, I'm so happy for everyone who wanted this. It's just exhausting. Yeah, definitely. I'm happy for those who wanted it as well. Who wanted that first Joker, and I wasn't sure if I wanted it, but I'm glad we got it. To quote another one, I loved Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of the Joker and don't think a part 2 is necessary. Another naysayer said, agreeing with tweets that the DC Extended Universe's bad guys saga should end with Phoenix's Oscar-worthy performance. Every now and then there's a movie that comes along that just really kind of changes the landscape of and pushes to what movies are, and I think this is one of those movies. Being such a making so much money and being such a low budget movie, that's what Hollywood used to be about. Like, you look at George Lucas and Star Wars. The practical effects they used in that movie, but made it seem so big. It challenged you. It made you work harder as a director. And when we hear the stories behind the scenes of what between Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix going back and forth, it wasn't easy to make this film with those two characters or those two guys, but they made it happen. So I think what it comes down to is that this movie will happen one way or the other because, like I said, Hollywood loves money, and right now they don't have much of it, so they're going to try to put this out there. And again, I don't know if it's going to have the Hollywood spin. I hope Todd Phillips fights hard for this movie to be, similar to the first one in that practicality, in the rawness of this movie. I hope they bring that in the second one. I'm still on the fence about it, but we'll see. We'll see when plot leaks. If they come out, we'll see. We'll do more. We'll pay attention to it here on the channel, and until we get more information, I will continue to stay on the fence and see what happens. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. If you guys are excited about this for a Joker 2, if you're not, rip it to shreds down in the comments, man. Let's have that conversation down there. I would love to hear your thoughts on this whole thing. I can already see what the comments will be like. Nobody's gonna want this, but it'll be interesting to see the comments either way. And also, guys, if you're new to the channel and you like this video, please make sure you hit that like button down below. Hit that bell for notifications. And as always, make sure you hit that subscription button. We are on the road to 1,500 subscribers, and you guys can help with that by clicking that button down below. So Joker 2 is happening, or at least unofficially announced that it is happening. We'll see what happens with all the fans and the backlash. Saying that they don't want a Joker 2. And I will sit on the fence and wait to see until more information comes out. With that being said, thank all of you guys for watching this video. I love all of you guys. We will catch you on the other side. Peace.